Hello.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear viewers, thank you very much for joining today. Very special day. It's the appearance day of Mother Sita, and also the appearance day of Janakarajaexplains Devi, as well as the disappearance day of Madhu Pandit. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to cover all three of these amazing personalities, but maybe we'll carry on tomorrow. But today I was thinking, because it's Sita Mata's appearance day, we can reflect on her wonderful pastimes when she came with Lord Ramachandra. So this is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 10th verse, 6 and 7. Jayanti, would you like to read the English?
Sorry, did you ask me to read it?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So this translation. O King, the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra were wonderful, like those of a baby elephant. In the assembly where Mother Sita was to choose her husband, in the midst of the heroes of this world, he broke the bow belonging to Lord Shiva. This bow was so heavy that it was carried by 300 men. But Lord Ramachandra bent and strung it and broke it in the middle, just as baby elephant breaks a stick of sugar cane. Thus the Lord achieved the hand of Mother Sita, who was equally as endowed with transcendent qualities of form, beauty, behavior, age, and nature. Indeed, she was the goddess of fortune, who constantly rests on the chest of the Lord. While returning from Sita's home after gaining her at the assembly of competitors, Lord Ramachandra met Parsuram. Although Parsuram was very proud, having rid the earth of royal order 21 times, he was defeated by the Lord, who appeared to be a Kshatriya of the royal order.
So here in this verse, Sukadeva Goswami is glorifying Mother Sita. The Lord achieved the hand of Mother Sita. Of course, they are eternally together. She's the eternal consort of Lord Ramachandra, and was equally as endowed with transcendental qualities of form, beauty, behavior, age, and nature. She is spiritual completely. No material qualities in her, just like there's no material qualities in Ram. Indeed, she was a goddess of fortune who constantly sits on the chest of the Lord. So, this is Sri Mulla Ram, the original deity of King Ikshwaku. So the King Ikshwaku is around, and beginning of the creation of this universe. So this is a very old deity who was given to Maharaj Dashrath before Ram's birth, and then to Lakshman, who worshipped them during Ram's lifetime, who gave them to Hanuman, who in the forest gave them to Bhim, and was given to Narahari Tirtha, who gave to Ananda Tirtha, Madhavacharya, now residing in the Raghuvendra Tirtha Swami Mutt at Matralayam, Andhra Pradesh. So it's really interesting. Very, very ancient deities. Sita Devi is the eternal consort of Lord Ram. Gaudiya Vaishnavas understand that Sita Devi is an incarnation of Srimati Radharani, as Ram is an incarnation of Krishna. Sita Devi is therefore not a Jivatma like us. Whenever the Lord descends, she also appears with him. For example, with Vishnu, there is Lakshmi. With Ram, there is Sita. With Krishna, there is Radha. With Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she appears as Gadadhar. As part of her earthly pastime with Ram, Sita Devi is the daughter of Earth God, Mother Earth, Bhumi Devi, and the central figure of the Ramayana, included in all the Kandas. In Valmiki's own words, Ramayana is also known as the noble story of Sita. Sita Aya Charitam Mahat. So she's equal to Ram. How did she appear? The grandson of Ikshwaku was King Nimi, who was cursed to die and had an option to live again, but chose not to. So the dynasty was called Vedaha, Videha. Janakaraj was born in that dynasty in Mithila and was childless and performing sacrifice. Janakaraj was plowing land to prepare it for conducting the yajna. He unearthed a golden cascade in which he found a beautiful girl and was overjoyed. A land plowed by yoke is called Sita, and so he named the baby Sita. There you go. There's a little child there in the field, held by Janakaraj. With the arrival of the baby, the king's good luck soared. His queen also gave birth to a daughter named Urmila. The two beautiful girls, by their noble qualities, good behavior and intelligence, endeared themselves to one and all and grew to become ideal princesses. Sitadevi was extraordinarily beautiful, but absorbed in worshipping the deity of the Lord of Surya-vamza. I presume she was worshipping that same deity that we looked at right at the beginning. Parshuram came to visit Janakaraj and gave him the famous Shiva bow to look after. It would take 300 men to lift the bow to move it a few inches, and then they would have to put it down and again, all 300 will try and move it again for a few inches. One day, Sitadevi was playing with her friends and a ball went under the bow. She easily lifted that bow. Remember, it took 300 men to lift it, right? She easily lifted it and got the ball out. And then she put it back again. She thought nobody was watching. When Janakaraj heard this, he was shocked and he decided that the only suitable match for her would be one who could also lift the bow at the Swayamvar in due course. There you go. Years later, the sage Vishwamitra, accompanied by his disciples Ram and Lakshman, arrived at Mithila. This is a wonderful picture of Lord Ramachandra. A Swayamvar was arranged and Ram raised the bow with ease and strung an arrow. As he bent the bow, it broke, made such a sound that everyone fainted. Only person standing was Lakshman and Vishwamitra. Sitadevi came with a garland, but Ram said he could not marry without the permission of his father. The news reached King Dashrath, who rushed to Mithila with his entourage in great anticipation. Dashrath happily gave his permission, and then the marriage of Ram and Sitadevi was celebrated in a grand manner. And I remember, I think Jayanti told this actually, that when Sita went to garland him, of course, Ram was very tall and he wouldn't, his nature is standing straight. So she couldn't garland him, but then Lakshman was next to Ram and he saw what was happening and he helped Sita. He went and touched the lotus feet of Ram, and of course Ram bent down to bless him. And at that moment, Sitadevi garlanded Lord Ram. So you can see Lakshman is such an amazing personality. He serves the divine couple in such an amazing way. At the same time, Lakshman married Sitadevi's sister, Urmila, and Bharat and Shatrughna married Sitadevi's cousins, Mandavi and Shrutakirti. Apart from the eternal relationship, Sitadevi was happy to marry Ram because of the following reasons. The day before, she had seen Ram and already given her heart to Ram. The ability of Ram to protect her due to his great strength. So this is one of the reasons why Sita was happy. The ability to clearly express what is in his heart. Usually a man thinks how to deal with the problem, whereas a woman may deal with the problem through discussion. So that's a nice comparison to make. Generally, man would think about the problem, whereas the ladies generally discuss with others and come to a rational solution to the issue. His self-control, discipline. People have fought wars to marry Sitadevi. But Ram, although qualified, he asked for permission from his father first. So this was extraordinary. He doesn't need anybody's permission. He's the Supreme Lord. But he took the role of a human being, an ideal human being, ideal son. So that's why he asked the permission of his father. Janakaraja placed the hand of Sitadevi over Ram. Usually it's the other way around, Now, because actually Ram was now under the care of the divine love of Sita. This was due to the compassionate nature of Sita. Ram would not actually kill any demons in front of Sita. So this is quite an interesting, she was so compassionate. So he wouldn't lift a bow in front of her. Janakaraja explained the qualities of Sitadevi to Ram. So this is another reason why he put the hand of Sita ahead of on top of the hand of Ram. She was born in an extraordinary way, just like you. When you follow Dharma, she will follow you. If you deviate from the path of Dharma, she will advise you. And she does advise Ram on a few occasions. When Ram was exiled and wanted Sita to stay and look after father and mother, she corrected that Dharampati and Dharampatni cannot be separated. The effects of karma are intertwined in joy and sorrow. Because Ram was thinking, it's so difficult in the forest. Why don't you just stay in the palace? She said, no, your karma is my karma and vice versa. Ram also, when he vowed to kill demons in the forest, Janakaraja, for protection of the sages, Sitadevi was worried and revealed her mind to Ram. That why is Ram wearing this ascetic's clothes, the sage's clothes, and then going to kill? So then, this is interaction. Sitadevi is advising Ram, or at least making him think. Then Ram considered her advice, and he explained his reasons for why he had to uphold the rule of the king. And as a servant of the king, he would pick up arms in order to protect the sages. Sitadevi is like a shadow. With prosperity, she will follow, and with difficulties, she will lead. So she followed in the palace, and she led in the forest. And of course, she eventually led Ram to Ravana, got him destroyed. After hearing at that time, Ram took the vow of Ekpatni Vrata. So at this time, when Janakaraja spoke the qualities of Sita, Ramachandra made up his mind, I will only accept one wife, and that's Sita. After 12 years of happy royal family life, circumstances led to the banishment of Ram to the forest for 14 years. Sitadevi persuaded Ram she should go too. Lakshman also joined them in the forest, and he wouldn't sleep for 14 years. Such was his loyalty to Ram that he would only recognize Sitadevi by seeing her feet. This is quite incredible. All these years, he never looked at the face of Sitadevi because he was so loyal to Ram. When Sita was kidnapped and they found the jewelry of Sita, as they were looking, and Ram would ask Lakshman, does this look familiar? This is what Sita's wearing, her earrings. And Lakshman said, no, I don't know. I've never seen her earrings. And then Bharat came in the forest with the residents of Ayodhya to persuade Ram to come back to the kingdom. But Ram would not break the promise of his father. Eventually, the three of them moved to Panchavati, where Shurpanakha's nose was cut off by Lakshman. Ram then single-handedly destroyed the 14,000 strong army of Kara. There's Surpanakha. Different roles of Mother Sita in her mind. She's divine mother with the concept of love, compassion, kindness, forgiveness. She was a Of course, Dharapatni with the concept of companionship, support, service, and advice. Attraction to temptation as lessons to it. The deer is called Abhiram. When one is attracted to something other than Ram, Ram walks away. So when Sita Devi got attracted to the deer, Ram went after the deer for her pleasure. She saw also Lakshman as non-saintly at one point because Marichi was screaming out, "Ram, help me, help me." And Lakshman knew this is not Ram who was calling out for help. But Sita was very scared and she started calling Lakshman all sorts of things. Then as she had insulted Lakshman, Ravana entered and disguised as a sadhu. Kidnapped her all the way to Lanka, which represents the material world. She was surrounded by one-eyed and one-eared demons representing I and mine attitude of the materialists in this world. Interesting. Hanuman and Sita Devi's interaction. Hanuman comes. So Sita Devi is struggling in the Ashoka gardens of Ravana. And eventually Hanuman comes. And when Ravana approaches Sita in Ashokvana, Hanuman is hidden. He sees Sita holding a blade of grass towards Ravana. Why would she do that? There you go, holding a blade of grass towards Ravana. And there's Hanuman as well, hiding in the tree. Atiti Devo Bhava, even though she was a prisoner, Sita Devi never forgot the etiquette of how to treat uninvited guests. So she offered him a blade of grass. Between man and stranger, there must be separation. This grass for Ram is Brahmastra, and this grass will be in Ravana's mouth when he loses. So it was very symbolic, this blade of grass. Sita Devi was distraught. So Hanuman, he didn't reveal himself immediately because he looked like he's a monkey. He looked strange. And Sita Devi would have been worried that this is another demon or somebody Ravana has sent to try to fool her. So Hanuman was in the tree, hidden, and he was reciting Ramayana. He was reciting the glories of Rama. Very interesting how he revealed himself slowly, slowly, slowly. Sita Devi heard the Ramayana. She was really happy. So this is a really interesting point. The narrator of the Ramayana should be hidden, like Hanuman was hidden. But Ram should be in the front. We should be glorifying Ram, glorifying ourselves for reciting the Ramayana, for example. And then later on, Hanuman showed her the ring that Ram had given him to convince her that he's a genuine servant of Ram. There you go. Hanuman reveals himself very nicely. Sita Devi sees small Hanuman because Hanuman didn't want to reveal his big size because Sita Devi would have been scared. But Sita Devi now began to know him. And then she asked him, "You're such a small monkey. How are you going to rescue me?" So then he showed his huge size. And then Sita Devi asked him, "What's your real size?" And in humility, he says small, but actually Hanuman's always big. And at that time, actually, Hanuman said to Sita Mother, "I can take you to Ram straight away. You don't have to wait. I can rescue you right away. Just jump on my back and we go back to Ram." But Sita Mata said, "No, Hanuman, there are many reasons why I can't do that. One is that I've never touched another male willingly. So I won't touch you either, Hanuman. And also, if you rescue me, then how will my Lord be glorified in the future? I want him to come and defeat this demon Ravana. So Sita Mata was willing to suffer for the sake of Ram, really, because she wanted Ram to be glorified. So she's such an amazing personality. But she did say to Hanuman, 60 days is my limit. Any more than that, and I may not continue to live in this world. And the 60 days, not quite sure if this will work out, but let's try. The 2 days, Hanuman was captured and burns Lanka. Then there was 5 days for Hanuman and the monkeys to get back to Ram. Then it took them 20 days to march to Rameshwar because there was a big army with Ram, the monkey army. Then it took 3 days for Ram to wait for the ocean to help build the bridge. It took 20 days to build the bridge, 800 miles long. And there was a 10-day war, the Sarah, 10 days. So that should be 60. Yeah. After Ravana was killed, Sitadevi was rescued on the 60th day. Shortly after that was also the end of the 14th year. And Bharat had vowed to, if Ram didn't return, exactly at the end of the 14th year, he'd kill himself. So they returned. This is the slaying of Ravana. So was Sita really kidnapped? In the Kurma Purana, Sita prays to Agni just when Ravana arrives to kidnap her. Agni creates Maya Sita, exact double of Sita, who takes the place of Sitadevi when she crossed the Lakshman Rekha and is abducted by Rama. So it's very interesting to understand that no one can possibly capture the eternal concert of the Lord. How can that be possible? In fact, there was one Brahmin in South India. He was constantly lamenting, crying. How can Ravana kidnap Sita? He just couldn't accept it. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day came and consoled him that actually she was not kidnapped. It was Maya Sita was kidnapped. The real Sita was taken by Agni to heaven. Maya Sita is confined in Lanka. After Ravana's death, when Maya Sita enters the fire at Agni Pariksha, then at that time, Agni restores the real pure Sitadevi to Ram. So that's why when Sita was rescued, Ram was very impassionate. He wanted the fire to be built. And he asked Lakshman, he ordered Lakshman, build the fire. And Lakshman was shocked. Why? How dare you? He couldn't say anything because he was just shocked. How can we test Sita Mata like this? This is not right. Anyway, this was the reason. The real Sita came forward. So, oh yes, here it is. Gauranga met a Brahman, Rama Bhakta in Madurai, was devastated after hearing that Mother Sita was stained by Ravana's touch and gave up food. So later, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept touring, and then he found the Kurma Purana, and he went back. He read this point about the Maya Sita, and he went back to the Brahman, and he consoled him that actually Maya Sita was taken by Ravana. Sita Mata's compassion. After Ravana was killed, Hanuman went to Ashokvana to meet Sitadevi and inform her of the good news of Ram's victory. Sita was extremely delighted on hearing this and asked Hanuman to ask for any boon he desired. Hanuman was full of anger against demons who were guarding Sitadevi because they were causing trouble for her, so he asked permission to kill them. Mother Sita exhibited her unlimited compassion and magnanimity when she said that these Rakshasas were simply and helplessly working under the instructions of the evil Ravana as his servants. It's not right to punish them. So very much like Draupadi, when she wouldn't allow Ashwatthama to be punished or killed rather. At that time, she told the story of the hunter, bear and lion. Oh, what happened? 1 second. Not sure what that story is actually, but anyway, I've forgotten it now. So this is them returning back to Ayodhya. And there's Bharat waiting with the lotus feet of Ram, the shoes. And this is the Viman, the swan aeroplane, beautiful. This is the mothers waiting for Ram, Sita and Lakshman. Then the following day, they were crowned king and queen. And then this controversial point about why did Ramachandra abandon Sita Devi? So this act by Ram has been scrutinized by spiritualists over millenniums. Selflessness was demonstrated by Ram and dignity by Sita Devi. When rumors began, Ram was obliged to act because he had the role of a king. And the dilemma was for the higher purpose, Sita. Ram was sent Sita away. Because he was a king, he had to act. That role of a king supersedes the role of a husband because it's a higher position. So he had to act to stop the rumors. And it wasn't that Ram was happy to send her away. It wasn't that she was abandoned in the middle of nowhere. She was taken to actually Valmiki's ashram, which is still under the protection of Ram because it fell within the kingdom of Ram. Of course, Sita's Mata's heart was broken, but she understood, she completely understood. And if we think that Ram had some ulterior motive to send her away, we should think again because he didn't remarry. The priest would tell him, when we do a yajna, you need your wife with you. So what did he do? He got a murti made of Sita Devi who would sit alongside him during the yajnas. So this is Ramachandra. Sita had no bad feelings towards Ram, as exemplified by her sons, Lava and Kush, who recited Ramayana as taught by Valmiki. If Sita Mata felt abandoned, maybe she would have hated Ram, right? And she wouldn't have trained her children to be devotees of Ram. So Lava and Kush, when they went to Ayodhya, they didn't know Ram was the father. They just recited the Ramayana. So it shows the glorious situation of Sita Devi. It's heartbreaking. No doubt about that. Lakshman, when he was ordered by Ram to take Sita, broke his heart completely. Sita stopped Lava and Kush when they were going to fight against Ram. She introduced Ram to them as their father. And of course, there's an external reason and an internal reason for the separation. There's the curse of Bhrigu Muni to Vishnu for being separated from his Dharmapatni, Khyati. So Bhrigu Muni cursed Vishnu. In one of your pastimes, you will also be separated from your wife. But of course, we have to remember there's no such thing as separation between the divine couple. And on the other hand, we have Lord Krishna. See, the Ramachandra married one wife. Krishna married 16,108 princesses. So, amazing. At one such sacrifice, some 15 years later, two boys came into So one of the sacrifices that they were doing in Lord Ramachandra's time, because at that time, that was the way of religious celebration or liberation, sacrifice, yagya. So the two boys came into the arena of the yagya, sacrifice, where Ram was sitting on his asan and recited the Ramayana. Ram was convinced that they were his very own sons born to Sita. He sent word to Valmiki that Sita can come and prove her purity and take her place on his side. Sitadevi, she came and prayed, if Ram has always been foremost in my heart, then may my mother earth, Bhumi, herself deliver me. As she spoke, the earth rumbled and shook, it cracked open when Sita stood. Bhumi Devi then appeared, seated on a throne of incredible natural earthly opulence, surrounded by naga snakes, and she invited Sita to take her seat alongside her. Thus she took Sita. So this is a verse from Shripad Madhavacharya's Mahabharata. Tat parai nirnaya 940. Parvishya Bhuman Sadevi Loke Drastya Nusarata Reme Rame Naviyukta Bhaskarena Prabhahita. That beautiful Sita Devi seemingly entered into the earth, though actually she always remains with Lord Ram, just as the sun's rays are always with the sun. So the qualities of Mother Sita, they reveal her inner harmony, her forgiveness. In accordance with her noble character, Sita is ever kind to the downtrodden. A righteous person does not consider the offense of others. Very interesting. Sita Devi's open-heartedness as Sita, Ram, and their soldiers are returning to Ayodhya. They reached Kishkanda, the home of the monkey warriors. Sita Devi asked Ram, because Ram would show her as they were going, this is where we did this and that. So when they reached Kishkanda, Sita Devi asked Ram, can the wives of the monkeys also come? And Ram stopped the chariot or the aeroplane, the Viman, and the monkeys quickly got their wives. And only then did they continue their journey. So see the open-heartedness, Sita's gratitude. After the coronation of Sita Ram, Sita Devi gave Hanuman the necklace that Ram had given her as a token of her appreciation of him. Incredible. So many other glories of Sita Devi, unlimited glories. So I wanted to stop there, and if there's any comments or any questions, please do feel free to ask or speak.
Today I was listening to a lecture about Sita Devi, and it says they're both born on Navami, and the glorification in Srimad Bhagavatam is in the 9th canto. So the number 9 is very auspicious. And it says, if you look at the 9 times table, they all add up to 9, like 9 ones are 9, 9 to the 18, which is 9. So, you know, just like Ram is so straightforward, you know, also all those that multiplication table of 9 is also like straightforward, you know. If you look at Krishna, it's all crooked, you know, like 8, you know, 8 ones are 8, and then 8 to 16, which becomes 7, so it goes backwards and then forwards, you know, like that. It's just like, you know, so that was the difference between Ram and Krishna that he made.
Interesting, yeah, nice point. Yes, Bhavin.
I'm almost crying. Just you said the whole Ramayana story. I got a bit emotional, but I really enjoyed it. Couple of things there were. One, you said about Ram and Krishna. Ram name is easy. Krishna name is difficult. It's hard. So that is a little bit different. One thing came in when you was reading. You said about grass of Ram. This grass will be in Ravan's mouth.
Yes.
I didn't understand that bit.
Yes, yes. The grass represents the arrow that Ram would shoot into and destroy Ravana. So that grass she picked up and she was saying to him, just like this grass, there's going to be an arrow that's going to shoot you.
All right. I got it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And you said about Bringu Muni.
Bringu Muni.
Is it another story?
That's another pastime, because there was separation between Bringu Muni and his wife. So he cursed Vishnu that you will also suffer this separation.
Oh, all right. So there is another story.
Yeah, it's another story. It's another
Thank
part.
you.
No,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for listening so intently. Very nice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed. But I'm really almost tears also. But bless them where they are now. And we are all, these stories, every time you hear, you like it. And his children also like it. And they're learning more about it. Same, Ram, Sita, Lakshman, and Hare Krishna, both of them. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for contributing. Anybody else?
You know that the story about the bear, the hunter, and the lion?
What's that all about? Yeah.
Okay, so basically this hunter was in the forest and then the lion was chasing the hunter. So the hunter climbed onto this tree, had a bear on it. So the lion is saying to the bear, you know, just push that hunter down so I can eat him. The bear said, no, he's coming under my shelter. So I'm not going to make him your food. Anyway, the bear went to sleep. So the lion said to the hunter, why don't you push the bear down and I'll eat him? So the hunter said, yeah, you know, this is what human beings do, don't they? They always look after themselves. So the hunter tried to push the bear down, but the bear woke up and hung onto the tree with one arm. So the lion said to the bear, see, you know, you were trying to look after the hunter, but the hunter was going to give you up and make him my food. So the bear said, doesn't matter, you know, I'm not going to push the hunter down. He came onto my shelter and I will always look after him. So, you know, it's like the compassion of Sitadevi.
Thank you. That's good. Good. Excellent. Okay, anybody else? Otherwise we can stop. Sita Mata ki jai.